joining us. If you could please clap for him and welcome him. Our beloved Mrs. Bird, Mr. Switzer, another AP. And Mr. D'Angelo, who drove all the way from Virginia Beach on time. My assistant coach is Eric Spate. We're waiting for another assistant coach to get here. He'll be here shortly. He will be running for that one. Also, we have a ton of faculty back here, which makes me so happy. Hi, Eileen. If you guys could just wave. So happy you guys are here. Thank you. There you guys are. The kids that we're all here for. This is one of those awesome times of the year where we allow ourselves one day to talk about individuals. Normally, the words out of my mouth are always team before everybody else, and today we get to talk about some individuals. So we're going to start off today by giving you just a little bit perspective. Coach, you need that. Is one of our wonderful parents, our parent liaison, and he films everything for us. He's in the back over here, and when we started this process with his son, Q, 4 years ago, he came up with some really cool information for me, which I thought was unbelievable. The number that you see at the top is the number of high school student athletes who play boys soccer every year. It's almost 400,000. That's a huge number. If you look down below, it tells you the statistics average of the NCAA Division I. That's how many get to play, just over 5,000. Division II is just under 5,000, and Division III is around 11,000. That puts these gentlemen in the top 5.5% of all players. When I tell you that very few get to go to college and play, that's really, really impressive. The next slide are the 3 schools that these boys are going to. This is really impressive, and I'm going to just tell you a quick synopsis of each school, because I think this is a huge selling point, not only for Hylton, but for the colleges that they're going to. They're not going to just some random college who chose to pick them up. They have been recruited for the last 4 years. And we're starting with Randolph College. Randolph is near Lynchburg, Virginia. Is it in Lynchburg or near it? I'm there all the time. I don't know. It's in. Okay. It's in Lynchburg. The head coach for Randolph College, his name is Brian Wagner, and a lot of these guys get to train with him in the summertime with us at camp. He is one of my all-time favorite coaches in the world, and I think I made a comment about him recently that said, if my son, my middle son, is lucky enough to go to college and play soccer, that's where he would go. That's how much I love this guy. Just because you're a college coach doesn't necessarily mean that you're brilliant. You have the pick of the litter, and you still have to do a whole lot of work with it. It's a phenomenal school. They have been to Texas, they've been to Europe, they play all over the world. More importantly, I had an individual go from Hylton to Randolph to play for Wags, and he was a little rough when he left high school, and I was a little worried about him, and I handed him off to Brian Wagner at Randolph College, and he came back and wanted to talk with me on an intellectual basis about the closing of the American mind, and he was so far up in the clouds, and I said to Wags, "What'd you do?" He said, they're required to grow up and be men before they can get on the soccer field. And I thought, you're my new favorite person. Very few of them, of the coaches out there, put that type of time and effort. And everyone in the state of Virginia fights to get a spot on his roster. So that's a really huge deal. The middle school is called Binghamton University, and they're Division I, and one of our kids gets to go there. You can see all of their conference titles. They're absolutely just ridiculous. Again, we lucked into this one. A couple of the boys got to go to camp up there and meet another of my favorite coaches in the world, who is known throughout the world, literally. If you go to Europe, you can talk soccer, his name will come up. He's phenomenal. Again, he pushes academics. His name is Paul Marco, and he's an amazing, amazing guy. The last college is Richard Bland College, and it's like the prep school to William and Mary. The really striking thing about Richard Bland to me is that they are in JCAA, so they're JUCO, but they're Division I. Most of the schools that are JUCO Division I have a 100% retention rate. After 2 years, they go and play in a 4-year school like William and Mary. So you can imagine the quality and level of play of soccer at some of these community colleges like Richard Bland. I know for a fact, because I used to coach at Nova, that getting their academics up and running, our talent pool was huge. We would play Division I schools and beat them all the time because these are the kids who didn't quite have the grades but can still play ball. So we were really, really happy with one of our players who decided to go there. And that coach is currently leaving, but we placed him there because he's a local guy from a local club, and he's very, very respected. He just got a job with the NFL as the head strength and conditioning trainer for 2 or 3 teams. So he's really big time. So he's leaving there. We're waiting to find out who's coming in, but one of our kids will definitely be going there. Let's start with Freddie. Here we go. We have a quote from Coach Wagner, and I think Coach Spade is going to read that for me.
Freddie's a tremendously technical player that is adept at getting out of tough situations. Freddie will add great versatility for us on our left side of the field. He has a fantastic left foot to get great service and is highly effective in 1v1 situations. Once Freddie acclimates to our system and style of play, we foresee him being a formidable force wide left or at left back.
Stand up.
Just ready. Freddie, you need to stand. Mr. Black said so. Freddie's GPA is upwards of a 3.6. He takes quite a bit. That's He currently takes AP classes. He takes AP COGO and AP Human Geography. More importantly, he has a wonderful family, but he is the first person in his entire family to ever go to college. His teachers love him, his teammates love him, and Freddie loves the game more than anybody I have ever seen in my life. He has soccer running through his veins. He's always playing. You can find him at Hylton at midnight. You can find him outside of his house playing soccer at camp. When everybody else is resting, he has a ball and he's playing. I've seen him play in the snow before. I've seen him shovel spaces off of houses so he can play. I've seen him play with a broken collarbone for a long time, by the way. And we just can't stop this kid. I asked Freddie to step out of his comfort zone this year. He was playing with a good team, but I really wanted him to step up. He trusted me. I don't know why, but he trusted me, and no kidding, we're really excited about Freddie this year because his technical and his tactical skills have increased so much, and he is really a force to be reckoned with. Several colleges recruited Freddie. 2 very heavily came after him, and because of his soccer and his academics, he's going to a school that is Randolph College, which is upwards of $44,000 a year, and he's going to pay somewhere around $9,000, and that's huge. We're so proud of him. Outside of soccer, I need to tell you a very quick story that one morning during one of the many hundreds of times I had to go out and shovel snow without my husband. I woke up at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I had on, didn't brush my hair and my boots, and I was so mad. Where was my husband during all of the snow? And I woke up and I walked out my driveway, and there was Freddie and Jack, and they were shoveling me out. And now you guys think that that's really cute and sweet, but I had both of those gentlemen in first period last year, and they are not morning people. They are mean and crabby in the morning. And so I thought, wow, you guys really are looking forward to soccer season. So Freddie's just an all-around amazing guy. So Freddie, you're going to go ahead and say something. Go ahead. The floor is yours. Yeah. Come on.
Thank you everyone for coming out today. I want to thank God for blessing me for everything. I want to thank my parents, my family, for always supporting me no matter what. I'm nervous, I'm sorry. I want to thank my teammates. They've become more than teammates to me. They become like my brothers. Going to house and early in the morning. Just all those hours have finally made it. I want to thank the coaches, Coach Spade, Coach Christian, and Ms. Beckman. If it wasn't for Ms. Beckman, I don't think I'd be going to college. I'm truly blessed. She's become more than a coach to me. She's become like a second mom. I really do love her. She's become a lot more to me. And this team has just become just like family. They were just so hardworking. When I broke my collarbone, they didn't stop, they kept on playing. They used me as a cone, but it was okay. But I'm just truly blessed to have just great friends, brothers, and I'm truly blessed that this is all happening. Thank you again.
I'm really looking forward to Jack joining our Binghamton family. He's very competitive and has a thirst for goals that makes him dangerous in the box. His athletic ability should help with his transition to Division I soccer. I'm thankful to his club coach, Joe Sousa, PWSI, and his high school coach, Christy Beckman of Hylton High School, that prepared him well for the next level. I believe his better days are still to come, and I'm excited for Jack and his class to arrive in August.
About Jack. Let me go back real fast. An incoming freshman class for recruiting for boys soccer on the average is about 15 to 45 freshmen that come in. I've seen it upwards of 55. Coaches like to make sure that they have insurance. When one goes down, another one comes in. So they lose players because of injury, grades, and sometimes the skill level just isn't there and they weren't so great at recruiting. You need to understand that Binghamton is a Division I school that competes with Akron, which is the #1 team in the nation. They're in a huge league, and Jack Nelson is one of 2 incoming freshmen in his entire class. And the other one is coming from Europe. So he is the only continental United States kid coming to Binghamton. That's crazy. Jack is a very special player. Obviously, everybody knows that. His technical skill is special. His tactical awareness is unbelievable. His vision of the game is brilliant. This year, though, and I just complimented him on the field. His professionalism and his maturity is just so wonderful to have around. It's not a bunch of little kids anymore. Jack anchors us, and when he's there, we are running with the big boys, and we do much better. I will say that where's my JV squad? There they are. I will say that after the Mountain View scrimmage, one of the JV players came up to me and he whispered. We were at Chick-fil-A, and he whispered. This is a true story. He said, "Hey, Coach, I just want to be like Jack Nelson." You haven't heard my response yet. My response is even better. on the way home from the Lynchburg College Showcase, Jack and Freddie and Salvador and I had ourselves a good talk. And it was wonderful, and it was such good to see. You guys have done a phenomenal job with him, by the way. I will tell you one funny story, though, while he's standing here, because he really gets embarrassed easily. He's obviously a 4-year varsity player with me. When he was a freshman, the seniors did not like him. The seniors came to me and they said, "What on earth did you put a skinny little white kid on our team for?" And I said, and they said, "What's his name anyways? His name Jake? His name's Jake, isn't it?" And I said, "It's not Jake. Don't call him that." Well, of course, they called him that for most of during warm-ups. And I said, at one point, you guys are going to owe him an apology, because that's not his name, and he does not like that. It didn't take long. We were 2 games into the season where Jack was, I don't think he ever came off the field. We started him as a freshman, and he was marking a Division I player currently in William & Mary. He was about 6'3", maybe 6'4", and the guy never touched the ball, completely shut him down. And we won the game, and as Jack was walking up the stairs at Woodbridge, leaving up those stairs, the seniors ran to the bottom of the stairs, and they were like, "Hey, Jake, we love you, Jake." And in typical Jack fashion, he turned around, he flashed that, California boy smile and goes, "It's Jack." And they were like, okay. Ever since then, he has always been, "It's Jack," for the record. Nobody gets to screw that up. Jack, come on up.
I want to thank everyone for coming out, for supporting us, and not only supporting us, but you're supporting the Hylton soccer team too. I want to thank my friends, teachers, teammates for their support and help through this high school and middle school. I want to thank my coaches from club soccer. Middle school, I had one coach. High school coaches, Coach Reed, Coach Spade. I'd like to thank Coach Beckman for all of her hard work, either with soccer, schoolwork, or talking to college coaches for me and helping me out. She's done the very best she can with me, and I really appreciate that. And most of all, I'd like to thank my family for all their support for all these 4 years and all their spent on me. So thanks.
Our next individual.
Austin is a complete central midfielder that will help strengthen our midfield right away. His athleticism makes him a tremendous ball winner. Combine that with his great ability to pick the proper passing is an ideal fit for our system in helping our program maintain its national status. We expect Austin to contribute right away and become a dominant midfielder in the future for us.
I was going to wait and tell you how he got that nickname later, but I'll go ahead and say it now, and then I'll go back to soccer. As a freshman on varsity, Q stepped in, and his name was obviously Austin, and he got in some games, and let me tell you, everybody became an instant fan. He became one of us. He defines what Hylton soccer is, and he was playing at such crazy levels, and he was very quiet and just loved it. He loved being a part of one of the boys. He loved the whole feel. He just really thrived with us, and we loved him. At one point, one of the boys teased him, and I don't know which one it was. Q, do you know which one it was? Which one? Aaron. There you have it. That doesn't surprise me. And he called him, he was laughing at his hair, and he called him Q-tip. And I said, "Stop doing that." But of course it spread. The more I said stop, the more it spread. And then I pulled Q aside and said, "Hey, are you okay with that?" And he was like, "Absolutely, that's funny as heck." And I thought, I love this kid. This is just such an amazing kid. And he's been Q or Q-tip ever since. Let me explain something about college coaches real fast. Having been one, I can tell you that there's a great big whiteboard in their office. And on any given day in their off season, you can find upwards of 50 to 100 names on that list. And as they go watch games and they come back to the office, they have these show film and they organize the list. They take a lot of them off, and the list gets more narrow and more narrow until they actually have their incoming recruiting process. It is a gift to be called the #1 recruit. That means you're sitting on top of a list of at least 50 to 100 people. In my lifetime, I think I've probably known maybe 3 in 20 years who have actually been named one school's #1 recruit. Q had 4 colleges tell him that he was the #1 recruit this year. 4 colleges. He was He is by far the most coachable player I've ever coached. He loves every minute of the game. He loves to work, he loves his team, and he leads very quietly, and we respect him for that. He too loves the game, and even though he will probably be accepted into JMU, we had a great conversation, and the conversation went something like this. Q, yeah, what do you want to do? I don't know. Well, let me just put it to you straight, because they like that apparently, because they like my directness from time to time. I said, here's my concern for you. I don't want you to be that 40-year-old guy who says, you know, I could have been a college soccer player, and if you can live without it, go to JMU. You're going to get the best education possible, and that coach is crazy that he didn't pick you up. Just absolutely crazy. And go to JMU, because that's a quality school. Your grades are so good. And if you can't live without it, then you need to go to Randolph, because I can tell you right now from Wags' voice that there were over 800 people trying to get Q's spot. His recruiting board was 800 deep. That's how good this guy is. And that decision was made, I think, right there on that spot. Am I correct? And he said, well, now what do we do? And I said, well, now we go talk to your parents. Now we probably have a problem. I couldn't be more proud of him. If you don't know the Black family, Reggie and Kim and Jordan and Kenneth, they are just amazing. If I could pick my family, it would be the Black family. They've been so supportive around here. I think my Mrs. Black would like to teach me and my daughters some crazy workout dance, which is never going to happen, by the way. They're so big on loyalty and friendship and honors and academics. I can't tell you how much we love this family, Q especially. I do have to tell one story, and he's hiding his head right now. Last season, we had a great game against Garfield. We don't like Garfield. It is what it is. We're not Garfield fans. And Q scored one of the prettiest goals I've ever seen at the high school level. It was beautiful. And there's no lack of energy when we play Garfield. It's a bloodbath every day. But my husband and I were watching the game film, and we heard Mr. Black was filming it, and we heard him score. And then we saw Mr. Black cheer and laugh and dance around. And it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And so I asked my daughter the other day, how do I put that on Vine? Because that brought me more joy than I wouldn't do that to you, by the way. And you know what? I accidentally ended up showing that clip, and you can hear him in the background. Nothing but sheer joy. We were gonna call that clip sheer joy, and that's how we all felt. So we were really glad that he did that. And then at the end of the clip, I will say that he, typical Reggie Black fashion, at the very end of the clip, he's crying, he's laughing so hard. He loves that goal. And at the end, he goes, okay, pull it together. We got to be professional. and then he goes right back to filming. So Mr. Black and Kim and Jordan and Kenneth is not here. We just love you guys. Thank you. Come on up here.
My message, boss gave me to have a message for them. First, I want to say thank you everyone for coming in July to see everyone support the soccer team. 3 things I want to tell JV and the rest of the varsity team is the most important thing is to keep your grades. You won't be able to get into college without grades. Second thing is work for what you want to achieve. And the third thing is keep your head up and don't give up. One particular player on the team that he was on varsity freshman year, and then he got moved down this year. But I'm gonna say keep your head up and keep trying. All right. And Torres, one of the most hardworking players on varsity. Every time he gets on the field, he gives it his all, and I like to see that. Thank you to all the teachers for getting me this far. I want to thank my parents. They're the ones that introduced me to soccer. My dad's the one that taught me that grades come first. They raised me well, and whenever I need something, they're there for me. Even if it's money, travel soccer was hard. They were able to pay all the fees. Even if they didn't have the money, they found a way to pay everything. They're always at my games, and I want to thank my little brother for everything. Thanks for trying to get all my games on practice. It means a lot. I want to thank Ms. Beckman for being the best soccer coach I've ever had. I want to thank my team for being there for me. We're more than a team, we're a family. That's something that means a lot to me. Thank you for coming.
James, if you would stand up, please. Here's what Matt Weiler at Richard Bland has to say about James.
I feel very fortunate to have a heavily recruited player like James Lee choose to be a part of the Richard Bland family. James will immediately be an impact player, and we look forward to having him.
James is a critical part of our team, and he will be a critical part of any team that at any level. He is still being heavily recruited from Ferrum and North Carolina Wesleyan. Coaches from James Madison, George Mason, and ODU have asked about him at great length. If he can increase his cumulative GPA, there's still a chance that he will wind up this fall in a four-year school. If not, he's in one of the best soccer schools in the entire state, and so he's done very well. What you don't know about James is that he's an exceptional artist. While reading and writing are not his strong suit, art is really a crazy talent. I have a funny story about James. I'm not even sure he grasped what was going on, but we were at the Lynchburg College Showcase, and I was supposedly nagging James about something. I'm sure it was something silly. And I had forgotten that a college coach was standing right there near him. When James walked away, the college coach said, "You two act like you're related." Well, James heard that, and he turned around, and we kind of gave each other this look like, well, we are. and it was just kind of a very normal moment, and the college coach was like, yeah, okay. and he kind of walked away. And James flashed that hilarious smile, and then all went away. James is one of our absolute favorite players, and we are really, really, really going to miss him next year. So, James?
I give big thanks to everybody who came out to support myself and the other gentlemen over here who taking big steps to college with me. Special thanks to all the teachers, coaches, friends, and family who support me for all this. And especially Coach Beckman, the other players, Coach Tate, Coach Garcia. All the school board, all me through schoolwork, trying to get me to where I am today.
has everything you're looking for in a high-quality central back. His size and strength make him an ideal mold to be successful at our level. He also has great ability on the ball, and he can pick a pass out from 40 yards, which will add a lot of facets to our top-ranked offense. Thomas will help bolster our top-ranked defense in the ODAC next fall, and we expect for him to make an impression for us right away.
Tommy was also a freshman on varsity, and that was a rough year for all of us. But when you hear these boys say that we are like family, it's because when you go to battle together, you can't help but get close. And when I tell you that Tommy and I have fought our way through 4 years and done a heck of a job on the other side, I mean that with all sincerity. I think that we might actually be family. We fight so much, in fact. Tommy was recruited by several college coaches. At 15, the summer between his sophomore and his junior year, having already broken his leg, by the way, he committed to the University of Radford, or how some people call it, just Radford College, between his sophomore and junior year. That was a really big deal.
Mr. Richard, please call 4087. Mr. Richard, 4087, please.
That was a really big summer for him. That is what he thought he wanted to do, and he was the perfect recruit. He was big, he was tall, he's a left-footed back, and he had good grades. And he was everybody's dream player, and still is, by the way. So he sat on that for a little while, and then he became a senior. And the coolest thing I can ever tell you about Tommy is, like me, he just refuses to be stereotyped or put in a box. I watched him. We had some tough goes of it during practice, during football season, and he had changed. He had grown up quite a bit from 15 to 18. And during the fall, I could just tell something was really nagging at him. He didn't want that anymore. He didn't want Radford anymore. It wasn't good. It wasn't what he wanted to be. Tommy loves to play soccer, but he also wants to be a medic or a doctor in the military. He wants to have a social life. He wants to enjoy. He enjoys singing, and he loves to argue any point whatsoever. And then he makes a valid point. He said, "Coach, why can't I do it all?" And I said, "You know what? You live in the greatest country in the world. Why can't you do it all?" Let's talk about that. I watched him with his painful struggle on whether or not to decommit. It's almost unheard of. If he had a Division I spot, why on earth would he decommit? And you know, we talked with Mom and Dad. Gracious, that was a huge decision. And he had the maturity and guts and stick-to-itiveness to actually call up Magic at Radford and humbly decommit. And then we got our crazy Tommy back. And then it was just very cool. He had energy back. He was kicking a lot better for football. He was doing just so well. You could see a really big difference in him. When I tell you that we're like family, though, on a side note, away from soccer, I will never forget the day that my 8-year-old, who's not here, he was 8 when he broke his leg, though. And that was not good because it was my fault. Well, okay, Chris is going to share 50% of that. We couldn't find the shin guards one daggone practice, so we let him go without it. The one practice, and he broke his leg, playing academy at PWSI. And here I am kicking myself like crazy. The ER doctor was like, "You're the worst mother." And then, of course, they said, "Did the coach let him play without shin guards?" And I went, "I'm also the coach." And she was like, "Oh my gosh." And I thought, wow, that's terrible. Tommy and his mom showed up that night with a basket full of crayons and coloring books and walked in and picked up my kid like crazy. And he calls him his broken leg buddy. And you can never replace that. That is a moment that will stick with me forever. Come on up, Tom.
Well, first off, I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Beckman for that beautiful introduction. And yes, we are family. We're not basically family, we are family. I'd like to thank all of my friends and family who are here today. Obviously, we got the Fight Defense Section supporting Hylton Bulldogs. Also, I would like to support, thank you
brother who's somewhere in here, right there. But most of all, I'd like to thank my mom and dad who dealt with me through all 18 years of my life. That's quite a struggle. And they carted me to and from practice almost every day, sometimes. Spent through all the money to get me through back with my broken leg. I went to physical therapy, they dealt with all that. And I have to thank you for that. And I have to thank you for pushing me to go back to soccer, go to all those camps, get back into it, and work as hard as I possibly could. So thank you, Mom and Dad. And, Coach Beckman has helped me through, just like my mom did, she helped me get through my broken leg. She pushed me when I needed that extra push to go a little bit farther, take it to the next level. And without her, I don't think I could have figured out what I was doing this fall at all. I really don't. So I need to thank Coach Beckman on that one. That was a blessing. So thank you guys for coming out and supporting us.
Bring the boys up here real fast. Guys, if you would pick up your chairs, please, we're going to have you sign, and then we'll close with some remarks from Dr. Otag. Is that you okay? Wonderful.
Get that out the way. Stand.
What?
Stand. Jordan, tell everybody to get out the way.
I'm going to give you guys lots of time for pictures in just a second. I need to talk about one more senior. Christian, come on up here, big guy. Christian is our sixth and final senior. And let me tell you, Christian got offers to go play to some really good schools. Where other people would have jumped at the chance to play for some of these schools, Christian just last week, I believe, got accepted to Virginia Tech and is going to be an engineer. My favorite school board member is going to give us some closing remarks, Dr. Hylton.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Oh, let me try one more time. Hello, everyone. This is a wonderful occasion. We all just want to jump up and come and give you hugs and everything, because we love all of you. I'm not here to make a speech. I'm just here to remind you of what you already know. You already know what it takes to succeed in the world. You already know. You are good listeners. You listen to your parents and you listen to your teachers in school. Teamwork. You wrote a book on that. You are competitive. You are hardworking. What speech am I going to make? You are already all of the above. You are a good role model. And I love this. I hear you thanking everybody. You have a grateful heart. You're grateful. And that brings a lot of blessings. Ask your mom and dad about being grateful. The spiritual value of being grateful. It brings more blessings to your life. You are a contributor. You are coachable. You listen. The coach tells you something, okay, you consider that. A lot of adults, including me, can use more of that. Coachable. From our wives, from our husbands, we can all use that. You all said it. Academics before what? Something. I'm not going to pretend that I have to tell you that. You already know that, and you already practiced it here. That's what you just have to do post high school to continue your success. I don't know. You are good public speakers. You came here and you connected with the audience. That's one of the skills you need to be highly successful. And when you start something, you stick to it. You have stick-to-itiveness. Just one little thing I have to remind you. It's very easy, because we are humans, we can forget all this. It's very easy to forget. And I just want you to play back this movie and remember I told you about crabs. Crabs. I love crab cakes. Yes. I guess you can say, what? Yeah. When each time I go to the restaurant, I open the menu. That's what I look for. Crab cakes. Wow. There's one thing I don't like about crabs. If you put about 10 crabs in a basin of water,